Want a soar? Get a mentor. Hey, it's Nina Carmichael, and we made these videos is probably because you're the most ambitious person in your circle, but you know you're capable of more, and you need a push by surround yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, my husband Evan Carmichael, the greatest gift that you can give yourself. Enjoy! Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1. Be proud of your effort.
The greatest thing that you can do for yourself is be proud of your daily effort. It's not about how many likes or views or praise you get. That stuff doesn't actually matter. It'll hit you and make you feel great for a second, and then it fades. The only thing that matters is when you're all alone, looking at yourself back in the mirror. Are you proud of the person that you are looking at? And for too many people, it's no. And I want to change that in this video. So I recently came back from Brendan Burchard's mastermind in Puerto Rico with some super high level people. About 25 of us sat around a table and masterminded for 3 days, and a lot of people I've profiled here on this channel. And I normally hate these kinds of events that are open, that are loose, that require just networking and talking to people, right? If there's a structure or if you need help, I love it. And just spend the next hour and a half mingling and talking to people. I hate it. Even the thought of it right now is making me cringe. I hate it so much. But when I got there, Brendan challenged me to say, make sure you ask for help. Make sure you don't just give, but that you leave here asking for help. And so that's always been a challenge for me. Networking events plus asking for help. We're hitting like both things that I'm historically have sucked at and I struggle with. And so I decided I'm gonna be proud of my effort today. I'm going to go off and do it. I'm not gonna go home. I'm not gonna go back to my hotel room, right? The hotel room was super close. On that 2-hour break, 90-minute break, 3-hour break, I could have gone back to my hotel room and done some work. I had lots of logical reasons why I should go back and do work. Everything is behind because I'm not working. But really it'd be an excuse because I'm afraid of staying there, because I'm afraid of not being in an structured environment, because I'm afraid of just talking to people, because I'm afraid to ask for help. And so I decided I'm gonna play full out. I'm gonna maximize this time I've got here. I'm taking this time off of work because I need to develop the relationships. I need to get the help that I need to get, and I'm gonna ask for it. I'm gonna be proud of my effort. Even if I fail, even if I suck, even if it doesn't work out, I'm gonna be proud of my effort. And it wasn't the most amazing result, right? It was awkward. I was standing around and trying to join people's conversations. It was super awkward and cringeworthy, but I was proud that I did it. I was proud that I tried. I can look at myself in the mirror and said, I did that. I tried my best. Pat on the back. I'm amazing. For other people who are there too, they're naturally extrovert. They don't understand what it is to be introvert, to be shy, to join in on conversations, to not ask for help, and how hard that can be. So for them, it was easy to just start conversations and introduce themselves. For me, it was really difficult. But self-worth, self-love, self-pride comes from doing difficult things that you don't think you're capable of. And so I was really proud of my effort for doing it. And if you did the same thing, it's something I still try to do every day, to be proud of my effort. In making this video, I want to be proud of my effort, that I tried my best to make the best possible video yet. You may not achieve it, it may not happen, but if every day you woke up and you try to do the thing to make yourself proud, right? The effort, you're gonna create amazing things. Where if you stay constrained by just what you know and what you're capable of and what you're good at, you never grow. You just stay inside your comfort zone forever and ultimately end up hating your life. So how can you do it? How do we make it practical? I'm gonna give you a 3-step process that will help you. Step number 1 is ask yourself, what would you need to do today to be proud of yourself? And this is where it's highly personal, because what would make me proud of myself is very different than my wife, than you, than Jeff Bezos, than Jordan Peterson, than Steve Jobs and Oprah Winfrey, anybody, right? It's different. It's an inside game. What do you need to do today to make yourself proud of you? One thing that I had on my list for today was film with my cut. So I got this scab on my nose. You can't really see it as much anymore, I went for a swim and it actually came off a bit, but this morning it was this giant red scab. And immediately I'm thinking, man, I gotta make videos. I got this giant scab on my nose. This is embarrassing. And I'm gonna go make videos. Like, that's not a good enough reason not to make content. And I want to be proud of myself for making the content. I made it when I had a broken neck. I made it when I had this giant scab on my forehead when I hit it against the wall. I've made videos without my voice. Like, I'll still make videos. I tie my pride to pushing through even though the odds are stacked against me, right? And so, great, I got this giant scab on my nose. I'm grateful that it went away a little bit, and I'm also upset that it went away a little bit because it's not as difficult a challenge anymore, right? When you have the chance to challenge yourself, and then if you back away, then that's the worst. Like, you're teaching yourself that you suck, that you came up against it and you didn't do it is the worst. But if it becomes a little bit easier, it's like, it's not as hard anymore. It's a little bit self-defeating, just a little bit, because you could have done something harder, right? The fact that the scab's not as big is a little self-defeating. I wanted the bigger challenge, right? Even though I was afraid of it, even though it made me self-conscious. That's for me, right? You ask yourself, what is the thing that you need to do today so that you're proud of your effort? Where other people, you might be listening to my scab story and say, that's stupid. You're proud of that? You're proud of getting in front of a camera and making a video just because you have some scab on your nose? Yeah, great. That's me. What's yours? Right? And nobody else can really judge it except you. You might put it down in the comments and other people say, oh, you're scared of that? Right? That's easy. Great. It's not easy for you. So write it down. What is the thing that you need to do today to be proud of your effort? If you got this thing done, if you tried this thing, you'd be proud of your effort. What is that thing? Step number 2 is tie your self-worth to the efforts, not the results. Too many of us, we focus on results. We're results focused. And it's great to be results focused. It's great to want to get an outcome for what you're doing. But you need to tie your self-worth not to the results, but to the effort that you put in. Because if you tie your self-worth just to the results, you'll only do things that you know you're going to get a result in. Therefore, you play small for life. You know you can get a result doing this, and so you just keep doing the same thing because you know you can get the results. But then you end up hating your life because you're never stepping outside your comfort zone. Stepping outside your comfort zone requires doing things that you don't know if you're going to get a result on. Does that make sense? If you want to grow, you want to push, you want to learn, you're going to do a whole bunch of stuff and make a whole bunch of mistakes and not get results most of the time. So if you tie your self-worth to just getting results, you're either going to feel like a total loser all the time because you're trying a whole bunch of new stuff, or you're only going to do the things that make you feel good that you know they're in your comfort zone, but then you hate your life because you're never growing. So you have to tie your self-worth to the effort. Did I put in my max effort today? And for some people, maybe that's just getting out of bed. When I had a concussion and I broke my neck, just getting out of bed, I remember the first night I couldn't get up out of bed myself. And for someone who, I'm independent, I love, my mobility and doing things for myself. The fact that at 2 or 3 in the morning, I had to wake up my wife to help me to go to the bathroom because I was worried that if I stood up, I might faint and pass out. That was terrible, right? And yes, she didn't mind, but just felt like didn't feel great about myself for that. But then the next day, I got up and I was able to do it, right? And so for some people, just getting out of bed is enough. Just getting out of bed is enough of a reward to say, I got out of bed today, right? For most of you, just getting out of bed is not that difficult, and you shouldn't praise yourself for it. But tying your self-worth to the effort, to the effort, to the effort. Did you put out your max effort? Did you try? The video you record today might suck, but did you try to make it your best? And if you did, then learning to celebrate that and patting yourself on the back and say, I'm amazing because I put out my max effort today. And if every day I keep putting out my max effort on things, I'm going to get better at it. I'm going to become world-class at it, even if I am not right now. And then step number 3 is do it. You have to do it. If you've gone through step 1 and you've identified the thing that would make you feel proud of yourself, you have to do it. You're not allowed. This becomes the whole game. This is the mindset game. This is how you start winning everything. You are not allowed to come up with an idea like that of, if I did this, I would make myself proud, and then not do it. You can't reinforce that negative cycle. That's where most people live. they'll say, hey, if I did this, I'd be proud of and then they never do it because it's scary, because it's difficult, because it's hard, because they might fail, because they might get judged for it, and you never do it. You can't fall into that trap. You are not allowed to come up with an idea like that and then not act upon it, because you're gonna lose credibility with yourself. Because the next time you come up with an idea, what's gonna happen is your brain turns on and says, you're not gonna do that. Look at these 1,000 other times that you didn't do it. You've taught yourself that you come up with something and then you don't do it. You don't follow through. And that is dangerous, destructive, negative self-talk that has to be destroyed. So you came up with number one, hopefully you did the exercise. What is the thing you need to do today to make yourself proud? You're gonna tie yourself forward to the effort, not the results of winning, and then you have to do it. You cannot let, the greatest thing is like right now, stop the video, and then right now go off and build momentum towards it. And then celebrate that. Even if it doesn't work out, because you tried your max effort. Don't let it go till tomorrow. Don't let it go till next week. Don't teach yourself that you suck. Don't teach yourself that you come up with ideas and don't take action. You have to unwire and then rewire your brain in ways that serve you. And this is how to do it.
Rule number 2, change your circle.
We don't change the people we hang out with because we're afraid. We're afraid that we're not going to find new people. We're afraid that we don't know where to find new people. We're afraid that we're going to get rejected and judged by these new people. We're afraid that if we lose the people who are hanging around us right now, that we'll have nobody, that we're starting over from scratch and we don't know what to do. And it's better to be with people who are just okay than to be lonely and be by ourselves. That's the problem. You're just afraid. But here's the thing, if you don't change it, if you don't change your circle, you're never gonna grow. Chances are right now, you are the most ambitious person that you know. You're the most ambitious person, the happiest person, the most positive person, the most optimistic, the most ambitious, the most loving, caring, big dreams person in your circle. Chances are that's you. And that's amazing. That's an amazing gift that you can give other people. You can pull other people up and you can support them and cheer them on. But who's doing that for you? Who's pulling you up? Who do you hang out with who makes you feel like you need to get better? Who's pulling you into a different world? Who says, hey, you can be more positive. You can play a bigger game. You need to believe in yourself more. Who does that for you? Chances are nobody. That's the problem. That's also maybe why you're watching these videos. It's why I make these videos on my channels, because I want to try to be that person for people. I want people to believe in themselves more, and content is definitely a way to do it. This is the starting point, but you have to decide that you're ready to play a bigger game. And that comes with making changes in your life. And that comes with taking some people out of your life. Now, doesn't mean you cut them out completely. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. You know, if your mom is always the one being negative and telling you that you suck or questioning you on things, maybe you don't want to cut her out of your life. But just because you were friends with somebody in high school or kindergarten doesn't mean that you should still be friends now. A lot of us are in these relationships out of convenience. Just because it's how it's been. You've always been friends with this person, so you must stay friends with this person. It doesn't mean you have to become mortal enemies, but you're gonna outgrow people. Think about how much you've grown in the past 10 years, 20 years. Think about me, I'm turning 40 in May. So, 20 years since university, the people who I was with in university in 30 years since school, man, how much have I grown in the past 30 years? How much have you grown in the past 20 years? How much have the people around you grown? Probably not that much. And so if you keep growing, and they're just kind of staying where they are, you slowly lose things to be able to talk about and connect over. And so you might pull them up a little bit, but you can only pull them up to the extent that you've grown. And they're likely pulling you down in a lot of areas. And so you have to do an audit. My recommendation is you do an audit. You do an audit on your life. You do an audit on the people around you. Think about who you hang out with the most. Start with the people. Like, who are you hanging out with the most? Your friends, your family, people in your social circle, people at work. Who are you hanging out with the most? And who actually gives you energy? Do an audit. Who gives you energy? And if they're giving you energy, you want to spend more time with them. You want to try to spend more time with them. And if they're sucking your energy dry every time, if you're leaving conversations with people feeling depleted, negative, pessimistic, man, you really need to spend less time with that person or just shut them out of your life completely. Because you living around negative, pessimistic people is not going to let you go off and build something amazing. right? Now, where you started from doesn't have to be where you end up. A lot of your heroes, they've gone off and done amazing things coming from really terrible backgrounds, but they decided that they wanted to change. They decided that they wanted out. They decided that they were going to make a dramatic shift in their life, which is what you're ready for right now. You're ready to make a dramatic shift in your life with the people that you're hanging out with. If you want to grow, if you want to accomplish your big, bold, bad, amazing dreams. So step one is you audit the people in your life. And then step two is you audit the consumption of things in your life. How much time are you spending reading books, watching videos, listening to podcasts that build you up, that make you feel amazing, that make you feel like things are possible, as opposed to just entertainment? Shifting the amount of content that you consume from entertainment to education will change your life. Shifting from just coming home, hating your life, watching 5 hours of Netflix, and moving to a spot where I'm going to invest in myself even a little bit every single day and learn. Shifting to that makes a dramatic improvement. Whoever you want to model, whoever you want to learn from, chances are there's videos on them. Chances are I've probably made a video on them. Go watch it. Go learn from them. You may never meet Mel Robbins, but you can learn from her. You can learn from her videos. You may never meet me, but you can learn from me and learn from my videos. And same thing for any of the mentors that you look up to. You can learn from them. There's videos, there's interviews, there's books, there's podcasts, there's lots of content. There's never been more opportunity to learn from your heroes. It used to be really walled off. It used to be only some select books, and hopefully they got an interview in some big newspaper, but most of your heroes were kind of walled off and you never heard from them. Now it's changed. There's no excuse why you can't get the knowledge that you need to learn. And then third, I'd really evaluate the groups that you're spending time in. I've just launched a new group called the Movement Makers, and we can link that up down below if you guys want to check it out, where I'm creating a private Facebook group for people who want to build a movement. Like, I'm going to be in there coaching and teaching twice a month, 90 minutes, helping people on certain topics and training. And then you also get to connect with other people who are trying to launch a movement. Like, when you're around other, even if they're not in your same town, when you're around other people who are trying to do similar things as you, who are ambitious, who are encouraging, who are positive, who make you feel amazing, everything changes. Suddenly you're not there trying to hold everybody together, right? Like, you're the glue trying to hold everybody's dreams together. You're fighting not just for your dream, but everybody around you, trying to make them build up, right? That becomes exhausting. When you're around other people who also have big, ambitious, crazy dreams, who are the weird ducks in their families as well, in their circles, and you're all encouraging each other and supporting each other, man, that's when you create amazing things. So whether it's my movement program, whether it's somebody else's mastermind, whether it's an event you can go to, whether it's a local meetup in your city, it's time for you to reach out. It's time for you to start spending time with people who are doing amazing things. Another year can't go by where you're still with the same circle. You're ready to grow. You're ready to grow. You have to spend today. You have to spend this week. You have to spend this month investing into yourself, not just knowledge like these videos, but actually reaching out, actually trying to join some kind of group, actually trying to find a new circle. Because yes, it's scary. Yes, you might be afraid. Yes, you might get rejected. Yes, you may not find the first group amazing right off the bat. That's okay. Continue to reach out. Because if you stay where you are and stay with the people that you're hanging out with, you're just going to get tiny growth year over year over year. And you know you're capable of more. And I know you're capable of more. And I want to see you rise up. Let's get it.
Rule number 3, find what makes you happy.
Happiness comes from knowing who you are and then having the courage and confidence to step out onto that ledge. Step out onto the ledge, and go live it, and go be you. Because it's hard, because it's tough, because you're going to get judged, because we're constantly comparing our version of happiness to somebody else. I'm here in Puerto Rico. Brendan Burchard invited me down to speak to his mastermind group. These people pay $30,000 to $50,000 a year to be a part of it, and I'm honored to be a guest. And the thing that I see consistently from all the people who are here, right? Imagine if you're dropping 30 to 50K to be here, how much are you making so that you want to come down, right? Everybody's doing the thing that makes them come alive. And that's a secret of entrepreneurship, at least the ones who are successful. That your version of happiness is going to look different than somebody else's. You're a weird duck. That's awesome. Go live it. Brendan came on stage and started talking about his daily routine. Brendan doesn't do anything work-related typically until about 1 o'clock. He wakes up, he walks the beach, he meanders, he plays with his cat, he does all of these things that get him in the right mental framework, and his first call is 1 o'clock. So he said that I want you guys to try something. Tomorrow, go out and walk the beach, right? Go out and walk the beach. Try that first thing in the morning. He moved the start time. We're supposed to start at 9. He moved the start time to 10 o'clock because he wanted us to walk the beach just as an experiment to see. And I did it. I went out, I walked the beach, and it was good. But it's not the thing that brings me happiness. Right? Living in a tropical paradise, it's not my thing. I like concrete. I like the concrete jungle. I like being steps away to everything. I like insane high-speed internet. You know, the things that make me happy are going to be different than Brendan Burchard. They're going to be different than you. And so it's about figuring out what the heck is the thing that makes you happy, and then spending as much time as possible doing that thing. A lot of it is still just a mind game. So how do you do it? Let's start this process. 1, think about the people in your life that make you happy. Think about the people in your life that when you spend time with them and then you leave, you feel more energetic than before. They gave you energy as opposed to stealing it. Dan Dapani calls it energy vampires, the people who suck your energy, right? You leave them and you feel depleted. Most people are going to be the energy vampires, but you'll have some people who are positive, uplifting, and when you leave them, you feel better about yourself, better about your life, more energetic, ready to take on the week ahead, the day ahead, the month ahead, the year ahead, what have you. Who are those people? Make a list of those people, and then try to spend more time with them. Try to find a project you can work on together, or if it's just meeting once a month for coffee. Try to spend more time with people who lift you up, who make you feel amazing. 2, make a list of all the things that make you feel happy in terms of activities. What activities do you love to do? I love salsa dancing. I love League of Legends. Even League of Legends, let me tell you, League of Legends, if you don't know League of Legends, it's a video game. I've been playing for 5 years. I'm not particularly good at it. I don't spend enough time on it to get amazing, but I like it. I love it. It's fun. In my downtime, I'm either salsa dancing or playing League of Legends. That's it. Those are my hobbies. I don't cook. I don't walk the beach. I don't garden. I almost do nothing. It's entrepreneurship, League of Legends, and salsa dancing. That's pretty much it. I could come here to Puerto Rico and never eat in any restaurant. The first 2 days, before Nina came here, the first 2 days I had cashews and almonds for dinner. Maybe not the healthiest, like long-term nutritional diet, but no need to go out and explore the different restaurants. It's entrepreneurship, League of Legends, and salsa dancing. Already in that, there's a level of happiness, because it's also saying no to the things that I don't really particularly enjoy doing. I don't want to go to karaoke. I don't want to go out and try this other place. You know, I don't want to. I'm good. I'm good. This is what makes me happy. Talking about League of Legends was a little bit shameful, I think, at the beginning, where to say that I was playing a video game as opposed to doing something more valuable or meaningful with my time. But now I talk about it. I like it. It's fun. And if you don't think it's fun, that's awesome. And if you want to judge me for what I find fun, go for it. But you've got your own thing. Everybody's got their own thing that we're embarrassed to talk about, that we're ashamed to say out loud. And you can't be happy unless you do. You know, Gary Vee's got his jets. He's got the garage sailing. Putting out garage sailing videos, he got judged a lot for from his friends. You've got something like that too. I've got League of Legends. And so having the courage to then say, this is me, and to share it, and to be okay with it, and to not be embarrassed by it. Having the courage to go off and actually start living that life. To do it, to go and do it. Feel good about yourself. That's where the happiness comes from. And third, I would say, make sure that you're consuming content that makes you feel happy. You know, these videos, I've gotten so much from Gary. I've gotten so much from all the people I've profiled. It makes me feel happier. It makes me feel more aligned. You know, I'm not hanging with Gary every weekend. You're not hanging with me every weekend. But you can get videos and you can remind yourself that this world exists and you want to play in it more often as opposed to where you are, because where you are right now isn't where you want to be, and that's okay. You don't have to stay where you are forever. And so the things that will get you out, the things that will lead to the ultimate happiness, is figuring out, one, what makes you happy, right? For me, it's not the beach. It's cement. I don't want to live here. It's great, it's beautiful, amazing, but I don't want to. I think those people hanging out on the beach there with the umbrellas, I think they're nuts. Awesome, go do you. It's not for me. Understand what makes you happy. Hang around with people who make you happy. Do the activities that make you happy. Consume the videos, content, resources that make you happy. Start now, because you deserve to be happy.
Rule number 4, serve others.
So in terms of making decisions, you want to do things that will serve other people. Serving others is hardwired into us. They did fMRI scans of the brain, and when you help other people, it hits the same part of your brain as food and sex. More than receiving, more than getting gifts, is helping others, serving others, being of use. You want to wake up every day and feel like the work you do matters, that you're having an impact. We all want to go off and have an impact. You are built to serve. And so already in your decision making, does it serve somebody else? Does it help other people in some way? If it's yes, you're making progress. In the book, I go through a 3-step process: who, why, how. So who, your one word, most important core value. What do you stand for? Who are you? You have one word that is more important than all the others. So belief is my most important core value. And so already the decisions that I make are through the lens of belief. This video is about belief. I hope it's my intention. I may not always execute on it as best as I can, but it's always my intention. And so if you understand what your one word is, then it allows you to make your decision-making process a lot cleaner, a lot simpler, a lot easier. Next is your why. Your purpose comes from your pain. Your why comes from your pain. The thing that you want to help and serve other people with, the problem that you want to solve, is the same problem that you went through. The people who you will love serving are the people who are currently struggling with the thing that you struggled with. Your purpose comes from your pain. And so whatever was the most painful moment in your life, the moment where you felt the lowest, the worst, the most worthless as a human being, your purpose for the rest of your life is to help other people who currently feel that way. So think about who you used to be, who you were 5 years ago, whenever you were struggling the most. There's lots of people who currently are like you used to be. You want to go serve them. And then the how becomes, how did you get through it? How did you get out of that problem? You may not even be fully out of the problem. Whatever you struggled and suffered with, you're not done. You're still growing, you're still learning, you're still improving. You're still climbing that staircase, of knowledge and growth. But every time you take a step up on the staircase, you can reach back and pull somebody else up. One more step, one more step. The more you learn and grow, the more you can pull people up with you. And so however you got out of the hole, even though you're not done, you're better than you used to be. There's lots of people who currently are who you used to be. And so however you got out becomes a recipe to teach other people as well. And so that's the first part. You're built to serve. You go through the who, why, how process, and you can figure out with a lot more clarity the decisions that you need to take in your life. Number 2 is understanding that you want to make big decisions in your life with your heart and the small ones with your head. Big decisions with the heart, small ones with the head. Don't make a list. People take out a paper and they make a list of pros. Don't do that. Don't make big decisions logically, because the big things that you want in life come from creating a new world that doesn't exist. You're trying to create a masterpiece of a life that does not exist for anybody else. Your life will be a masterpiece that nobody has created yet. That is something that your brain can understand. Your brain is logical. Logic can't understand creating something new, because that's art, that's passion, that's heart. Your heart can create something new. Your brain understands something that currently exists. And so your heart has to make the big decisions. Don't make big decisions through logic. You make big decisions through the things that you love doing. It's why following your passion is the number one piece of advice consistently across all high achievers, successful entrepreneurs, innovators, leaders. They all say it. You have to follow your passion. You have to find a thing that you love doing, because that's going to carry you to create something that's never been created before. And so whenever you're deciding to do something, get your head out of the equation. It's not about logic. It's what do you love doing? What do you badly want to do? What would fill you up? Big decisions with the heart, small ones with your head. So you use your heart to decide what you want to do, and then you use your head to figure out how to do it. At the very beginning, chances are your head and your heart are against each other. Your heart wants to do this, and your head says, you can't do that. You didn't go to school. You're not capable of that. Are you nuts? You can't do that. Stay here. Stay safe. This is where you should be. And your heart says, no, I want to do this crazy thing. You decide with the heart, and then your head has to come on board. When you say, I am doing this, then your brain says, okay, well, she's serious, so let's figure out how to do it, right? I'm gonna help use my head now to figure out how to go off and create this thing because my heart's demanded it. Big decisions with the heart, small ones with the head. And step number 3 is trust your ideas and act. Trust that the ideas that come to you, an idea probably came to you today, whatever idea flowed through you, trust that it is flowing through you, that it came to you for a reason, that you are a genius, that you have great ideas, and that you are not born to sit here, come up with great ideas, and do nothing about them. Trust your ideas. We don't trust our ideas enough. We don't trust ourselves enough. That idea was given to you for a reason. You have to go do something about it and act. Even though it doesn't make sense, even though people may judge you, even though it's probably not going to work out the first time you go off and do it, right? Trust your ideas. Teach yourself that as soon as you get an idea, that that's the right thing for you. Trust that that's the right thing for you. Right now, if I'm thinking about whatever, sushi, then sushi is the right thing for me and I'm going to eat sushi tonight. It may sound crazy. That's how you need to start making decisions. You need to start listening to your intuition more, right? Listening to your heart, listening to your gut more than trying to just follow simple logic in your head.
Also, if you want to have more self-confidence and self-belief, I've designed a special free training to help you do it. The science says it can take up to 254 days of consecutive action to build a new habit. And I want that for you. I want you to build the habit of self-belief. So what I'm going to do is email you every day for 254 days a link to an unlisted video that will shift your belief forward. To get on it for free, the link to join is in the description below.
Surround yourself with greatness. If you want to be more confident, you need to surround yourself with things that make you feel confident. Smash all of those things together because that's the unique thing that only you can do.
Because your book has come out, it doesn't mean you should stop marketing. It's not just about week 1 when it just comes out. It's constantly marketing, 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 marketing.
Rule number 5, take responsibility.
The single greatest thing that you can do to improve the quality of your life is to take responsibility for it. No more blaming your parents, or the country, or the government, or your family, or your community, or your education. No more blaming other people. It's you. It's you. It may not be your fault where you are right now, but it is your responsibility alone to fix it. You didn't pick where you started, but you can choose where you end up. It's up to you. So I remember growing up, my parents were very hardcore in education. You see my parents behind me here. I'm 8 or 9 here. These are my parents. And we were a middle-class family. We weren't poor by any stretch, but we also, we're not rich. And my parents invested basically everything they had into our education. They put us all in the private schools, and taking 3 kids into private schools was a giant chunk of the income that they made. And so we didn't spend money on a lot of other stuff. I remember driving into my school, and all of the friends, all the other people at the school had all these fancy cars that when they turn 16, they're given a Mercedes or BMW from their family. And my family had a Reliant K car that kind of made a bunch of noises as it came into the school that was, I don't know however many years old, just because my family prioritized education, and we were playing in a league that was maybe above our means, but they valued that so much, and then we took a hit on other things. And I remember I used to get made fun of for the car, and I never went on the vacations that they went on, and I didn't have the fancy watches and all that other stuff. And there was one friend of mine who was kind of in a similar boat, where his parents weren't making a lot of money, invested everything that they had into his education too. And so we quickly became friends as I guess the poor kids at the school. But it's funny now because I never blame my parents. I'm super grateful for the opportunities. I mean, why I have them up on my wall, that they invested so much and that they cared. And it's on me. Like, if my business doesn't work out, it's not their fault, right? Up until, you can potentially move out. I don't know what age you want to say, if it's 14, 15, 16, 18, but after a certain age, you're an adult. You have to take responsibility for your life. I can't be here at, how old am I now? 39? I can't be 39 blaming my parents. Like, it's my fault. If I'm not successful, it's on me. What happened when I was 6 years old doesn't matter anymore. Now it's on me. And there might have been some crazy stuff that happened to you, right? But you're allowing it to happen to you every day. You're allowing that story to come up and hurt you every single day. Now it's your choice. You don't have to end up in the same spot that you are right now. It starts with you stopping blaming the people around you. And what's been an amazing full circle moment is a lot of the people that I went to school with, a lot of the people who are gifted those Mercedes and BMWs, when they're 16, they're now coming to me and asking for help. I'm more successful than a huge chunk of them. They want to start businesses and they don't know how to do it. They're asking for help and reaching out. It's a pretty wild experience because I almost went down the path that they went in terms of getting the jobs, but I became an entrepreneur. And that can happen to you too, right? All the people who you're jealous of, all the people who might be giving you a hard time, all the people around you who aren't chasing their dreams down, you might end up being an inspiration to them. But it starts by you being an inspiration to yourself. It starts by you taking accountability and responsibility and saying, I'm gonna go make my life better than what it is right now. So how do you do it? I'm gonna give you 3 steps. Let's go. Step number 1 is figure out what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want out of life? What do you want your life to be? What do you want to do? Who do you want to be? What do you want to be doing on a regular basis? What's in your calendar? What do you want? What do you want? I want to solve the world's biggest problem. Try saying that on the street. Right? It's crazy. What do you want to do? What do you want? Even though the people around you may not understand it, chances are they won't. Chances are the thing that you want is not what your parents and your family did. It's something totally different. It's an opportunity that didn't exist. I had a guy on my Twitch stream yesterday, League of Legends online. He was telling me, I wish I was born a couple decades earlier because I would have had a comic store. But now you can't make money at a comic store and I want to be financially independent. It's like, you want to be financially independent? Dude, you don't want to be born 2 decades ago. The guy who was born 2 decades ago barely had any tools available to be able to become financially independent. People who own comic book stores 2 years ago were not financially independent. You're living a really meager life. I mean, you can be independent, I guess, and not having to work for somebody else, but you're not taking massive vacations. You're not making a lot of money. But now, the amount of opportunities, the fact that you could be sitting here playing a video game and making money is crazy. It did not exist 20 years ago. So no, don't go back and wish you were born 20 years earlier so you can open a comic book store. You have way more opportunities right now to be financially independent. So what do you want? Figure it out. Number 2 is eliminate the negativity. So you want this thing. You want this life. You want these resources at your disposal. You want to be doing these things. There's a lot of people, including the voice in your head, there's a lot of people saying, you can't do that, you'll never do that, you're not good enough. Do you know where you came from? You know what your education is? You think you can go do that? Are you crazy? Are you nuts? You can't do that. Start to shut it down. Start to eliminate the negativity. And you know by how you feel. If you are, this is especially, think about people and the resources that you're consuming. So the media you're consuming, right? People and what you're consuming. So videos that you're watching, books that you're reading, although chances are there aren't that many super negative books, but think more videos you're watching, I guess, series you're watching, where you might lose your time, and the people around you, where you feel worse about yourself, where you feel lower energy than when you went in, where you're just escaping your problems instead of actually confronting them, right? You want to eliminate or at least limit exposure access to it. Now, maybe that's your mom. So maybe you don't talk about some things with your mom now. Maybe you shut off that kind of side. I'm not saying you need to eliminate your mom from your life, although for some people, that's honestly the best thing, and people have done it and then exploded. But at least limit access to certain topics. Eliminate the negativity. And then step number 3 is fill the void with possibility. So you've eliminated access. You're not hanging around with your friends who are always complaining and being negative. You stop watching the shows that don't teach you anything, that are mindless entertainment. You stop talking to people about the things that you know they're gonna just berate you for and never support you on. Great, so now you have extra time. What are you gonna spend that time on? Inject yourself with possibility. Surround yourself with people who are doing amazing things. That could be even in the form of videos. It could be this, maybe the espresso videos you need every day. Awesome, I'm humbled to be a part of your journey. Maybe it's the top 10s, maybe it's my main channel, maybe it's other videos, other creators, maybe it's going to events, maybe it's hanging out at different meetups and meeting new people, right? There's lots of different things that you can do. But the goal is to fill that void in your time now with possibility. Because the more that you're around people and ideas that make you feel bold, that make you feel like it's possible, that crazy idea, the what do you want back in step one, that you feel that it's possible, that you can do it, that might actually be attainable. That seed of hope is everything. Because whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right. The people around you, chances are, telling you that you can't do it. And you need to switch the narrative. You need to change the story by injecting more possibility into your life.
Rule number 6, do scary things.
Doing what you are afraid of is your path to success. Every time you take on something new that scares you, that pushes your comfort zone, that requires you to stretch, on the other side of that scary thing is the new you who is now capable of more. Most people, they shrink from scary things because they're scary. But if you want to win, if you want to hit your ambitious goals, then you have to teach yourself that you do scary things. So I recently came back from 2 pretty significant speaking gigs in my career as I'm building up and speaking on bigger stages. The first was when I was speaking at Brendan Burchard's event, and it's his Growth.com event. And Brendan, one of the greatest speakers in the world, invited me to come and talk to his group of a couple thousand people. And then I went to Ed Milet's event just recently in Whistler. And this is a smaller group, 100 so people, but they pay $60,000 a year to be a part of his program. And so they're coming to learn from the best. He sandwiched me between David Goggins and Peyton Manning. So it was David Goggins, and then me, and then Peyton Manning. That was the lineup. And so when I was backstage at the Brendan event, I remember moments before going on stage, I was the most scared that I'd been in a long time. The most nervous, the most anxious. I was afraid of disappointing people. My biggest fear is letting people down. My biggest fear is that I'm going to let Brendan down, and Dean Graziosi, who they both brought me there. And I was just going to suck on stage. That was my biggest fear. And so I had a mini panic attack backstage. 5 minutes before going up, I have this mini panic attack, and I'm forgetting what I'm going to say. I imagine myself going on stage and just blanking out. And I tell myself, I'm Evan Carmichael. I do difficult things. I love difficult things. If I don't do difficult things, I'm never going to accomplish great things. So I have to do difficult things. I love it. I thrive on difficult things. And then I remembered what I was going to say. And then I went out and I did my thing. And now when I went to Ed's event, I wasn't as nervous. I wasn't as afraid. I was still scared. I was still afraid of letting down Ed Milet, letting down Andy Frisella, who they both brought me there, being between David Goggins and Peyton Manning and just being outshone. Everybody knows them. They may not know me. All of it, all of the fears and doubts, but less than what I had at Brendan's event. Not because it wasn't as big a deal, but because I had just done it. Because speaking on stage to a couple thousand people at Brendan's event and having that panic attack and getting through it changed who I was, made me stronger, made me more capable of doing the next thing. And the next thing was Ed's thing. And so if I hadn't gone to Brendan's, I would be terrified going to Ed's thing. So every time you take on these difficult challenges, you might have the panic attack. You might have the anxiety inside you. You might have that little voice to say, you can't do it. What if you fail? What if you disappoint people? What if you lose respect? What if it doesn't work out? But you know what's worse? You know what's worse than going up and failing? Not trying. Not doing it. Finding some reason, finding some excuse to say you're sick, you're busy, you can't make it. But in the back of your head, you know you were just afraid. And the last thing you want to do is teach yourself that when you are afraid, that when you have an opportunity in front of you and you're afraid to do it, that you say no. You don't want to teach yourself that. You teach yourself the opposite. That when you're afraid, that when there's something in front of you that you want to do, but you're scared, you're anxious, you're worried about letting people down, that you jump in and you say, I'm all in because I do scary things. So how do you do it? I'm going to give you a 3-step process I think will help. Step number 1 is ask yourself, if you could not fail. If you could not fail, what would you do? If you could not fail, what would you do? What would you do? Just blue sky it. You know you're not going to fail. What would you do? For me, I'd be speaking on bigger stages. I'd be speaking more often. I'd be speaking on bigger stages. And that's now become, even asking that question sets into motion action, right? Now my goal is to speak on 2 stages a month. And so traveling to speak on 2 different stages every month and putting that plan into action for the next 6 to 12 months, right? If you knew that you could not fail, what would you do? Eliminate the risk of failure, right? Eliminate, because that's how we'll default back to. Like, oh, I'd love to do that, but right? But I might fail, but this is gonna happen. Then you get back into negative small thinking mode. Just for 2 minutes, forget about that stuff. For 2 minutes, let yourself dream again. And imagine, if you could not fail, what would you do? Step number 2, expect to fail. Expect to fail. Expect to suck, especially if it's your first time. If it's your first time speaking on stage, for example, you're not gonna be great. You're not gonna be Les Brown, you're not gonna be Tony Robbins, you're not gonna be Brendan Burchard, you're not gonna be great. It's your first time. Your first video, you're not gonna be great. It's why I kept my first video up on my channel too. You can go back and watch it. The first time you do it, you're not gonna be great. This is one of the biggest fallacies in human thinking, is we expect to be great the first time we do something, and if we're not great, we don't do it anymore. As kids, we learn that when we fail, we get up and we try again. As adults, though, we're so terrified of failing that we don't try most things. And then we have this constant thought in our mind that we know we're capable of more, but we're too afraid to go off and start. And so expect to fail. Step 1 is know that you're not gonna fail. Great, that gives you the freedom to dream, to do the thing that you actually wanna do and not get in your own way anymore with your thinking. But step 2 is then you expect to fail. Micro, not macro, right? If you keep going, if you keep doing it, you keep making videos, you keep doing your speeches, you keep reaching out, you're gonna win. But the first time, expect to fail. Reduce the expectation that your first time of anything has to be amazing. And then step 3 is tie your self-worth to the effort. So many people tie their self-worth to the result instead of the effort, right? Did I give a good result? Did I give a good speech? Did I give a good video? Did I get a result from my customer, right? Did it work? Did I win that race? Did I XYZ, right? You're tying your self-worth to the result. What you want to do is tie it to the effort. So that even if you go up on stage and suck, you tell yourself, I'm the best. I did it. When I look back at my Brendan video at his event, I could have done better. I can always do better. I look at it, and even though people loved it and standing ovation at the end, and Brendan was freaking out and he loved it, I look at it and see all the holes, all the places where I could have been stronger, could have had more energy, could have been better. And if I was doing that speech in a smaller group, it would have been better. If I was doing that speech just to a camera with nobody in the room, it would have been way better, because I would have been able to practice it over and over and over again until it was perfect. But I'm really proud of the effort. I was 5 minutes ago, before going on stage, freaking out, having an anxiety attack, forgetting everything I was gonna say in front of this massive audience. And I went out and I did it. And so I'm proud of my effort. That's what I want for you too. You have some big ambition. You let go of the fear of failing. You then expect to fail. You expect to suck at the beginning, and you tie your self-worth and you pat yourself on the back, even if you failed, even if you stumbled, even if it sucked. And you say, I did it. I tried my best. Because every day you woke up and you tried your best, I promise you, you're gonna get amazing results.
Rule number 7, find your own balance.
Most people suck at creating work-life balance or harmony because you're constantly comparing what you're doing to other people's schedules. Of all the things that you need to figure out in life, what balance means to you is among the most important. Jeff Bezos jokes about optimizing his toothbrushing routine because he's trying to maximize his efficiency, while Warren Buffett reads for 5 to 6 hours every day. You can't do both, and you need to stop comparing yourself to someone who you're not. It's crazy how much balance and scheduling comes up. I think most people are lost. I think again, the biggest problem is you're just comparing yourself to other people, and then you don't know where to stand. You don't know what rock to stand on, and so you feel like you're pulled in 1,000 different directions. When I went on my tour this year, and I'm sure it's gonna come up on the next one again, people kept asking, what does balance mean to you? How do I find balance in my life? And I used to joke, one of the funniest jokes that I told, and I'm not that funny, so this is one of the funny moments, was when I was talking about The Rock. And The Rock has his routine where he's working out for 4 hours a day. He has to work out for 4 hours a day. And so when he's doing his movies, he wakes up 5 hours before he has to be on set, and he'll work out for his 4 hours, and he'll do 2 times cardio and 2 times weights, and then go to his trailer, shower, and then head out to the movies. And he's only sleeping 4 to 5 hours a night when he's on set. I think that's crazy, but I don't look like The Rock. And that's when people would laugh, because I don't look like The Rock. But it's true. People will try to take on The Rock's schedule, but you have other priorities. What The Rock values isn't the same thing as you value. There may be some overlap and some similarities, and there's nothing wrong with trying on the hat. There's nothing wrong with attempting to do it. There's nothing wrong with seeing how it fits, right? To get pieces, to say, hey, I'm gonna try meditating, I'm gonna try working out, I'm gonna try making a video, I'm gonna try morning pages, awesome, great, yes. But then to judge yourself to say, well, I'm not able to stay consistent on that, it's not what you should be doing. Because you want to work out 4 hours a day, and you want to read 5 hours a day like Warren Buffett, and you want to optimize your toothbrush routine like Jeff Bezos, and you want to do all these different things, but it's too many hours in a day. What you have to figure out is, how does balance look like for you? And then not be ashamed to go off and live it when everybody else thinks you're nuts. So how do you do it? I'm gonna give you a 3-step process that I think will help. Step number 1 is start to figure out, what does balanced harmony look like for you? Whatever you wanna call it. Sit down, take some time, book off half the day. This is worth it. This is worth it. If it's a Saturday afternoon or Sunday morning, whatever you are the most free and creative, find a space that you love, whether it's walking out in nature or your desk at home, or a coffee shop, library, something where you can just be by yourself, not have distractions, and really just ask yourself, what does a balanced life look like for you? What does harmony look like for you? Because you don't want to spend all day at work. You don't. And you don't want to spend all day with your family either. You don't. You don't want to spend all day doing anything. But what's that ratio look like? You don't want to spend all day sleeping. What's that ratio between how much time sleeping, how much time with your family, how much time on your hobbies, how much time with your friends, how much time at work? What does that ratio look like for you? And you may get a weird duck answer. Like, it may not fit into the society's norms. That's okay, right? It starts with you understanding, this is what I need for my life. Having clarity and having certainty around it, so that when other people judge you for your crazy schedule, say, this is what I need. This is what I need. Remember, the people who are judging you are all insecure about their own life and their own schedule too. So don't worry about it. Go live your life. Spend the half day. Maybe do it right now. If you have some ideas already, what does balance or harmony look like for you? Number 2 is map your actions to your ambitions. Okay, great. Now that you've set out what a perfectly balanced life looks like for you, what you got to do it. You show me in your calendar where you're actually doing it. I live my life by different days. So Monday's my mentoring day, Tuesday's my YouTube day, Wednesday's my project day, Thursday's my public facing day, Friday's my CEO day, Saturday is fun day with the family, and Sunday is family admin day, Costco and shopping and groceries and laundry and all that stuff, right? And that's how most of the time I live my life. When I'm on tour, when I'm doing trips or something, speaking, then it gets a little bit more chaotic, but then it returns back to normal, because that's what balanced harmony looks like for me. That may be crazy for you. That may be crazy for you. If you look at my Thursdays, it's back to back to back meetings. I might have 10 or 15 meetings back to back to back to back to back with like 2, 3, 4 minute breaks in between. That's it, all day long, from 9 in the morning until sometimes 11 at night. I love it. It's great. And then on Wednesday, look at my calendar, it's open, nothing. White space to work on whatever I want to work on. Because if I'm doing my book, or I'm working on my course, or I'm doing some creative work, I like having the entire day wide open for me to do it. So I don't book meetings on a Wednesday. I don't talk to my team on a Wednesday. I don't make videos on a Wednesday. I do my project work on a Wednesday, right? That's what I love doing. And so that works for me. That may be the worst thing of all time for you. Awesome. But my actions map to my ambitions. If I set out, what does balance look like for me? This is it. I'm living it. Just like Saturday is fun day. Don't message me on a Saturday. You're not going to get a response. I'm spending the day with my wife. I'm planning surprises for her. I'm taking to a new restaurant. We're planning some kind of activities to do together. That's what we do on Saturdays, right? That's my version of balance. But at the same time, during the week, my wife and I, we work together, so I see her a lot, but we don't start hanging out at night until 8 o'clock, right? That may seem crazy for you. But then we have all of Saturday completely shut down to work on things together, fun things. And then Sunday, the whole day to do what is actually family work, right? That works for us. It works for me, it works for her, it works for us. It may be the worst thing of all time for you. Maybe you do want to spend 3 hours a day cuddling with your husband or wife. Awesome, put it in. I'm not judging you. Put it in, go, do it. If that's what leads you to be happy, balance, and you bring the best of you everywhere you go, then you do it. You created your version of balance. Now you need to map your actions to your ambitions and put it in your calendar and stick to it. And then step number 3 is follow the Quincy Jones rule. Quincy Jones, a legendary music producer, once said, "Not 1 ounce of my self-worth comes from your opinion of me." And I really love that, because I think so often we play small based off of other people's opinions and expectations of you. All these other people with low standards who hate their lives are judging you, and you live your life by their low standards. Somebody who hates their life, right? They're just on the edge of depression, or maybe they're already there and they're judging you, and these are the people whose opinions you care so much about. Not 1 ounce of my self-worth comes from your opinion of me. That doesn't have to be something you say out loud to them. That might cause some problems. But in your own head, in your own head, right? Their opinion doesn't mean anything to you. If somebody looks at your calendar and you're cuddling your husband and wife for 3 hours a day, and that's what you need, awesome. Embrace it. This is who I am. I'm crushing it. What are you doing? Are you happy with your life? Right? Follow the Quincy Jones rule.
Rule number 8, the last one before our very special bonus clip, trust your vision.
The reason why you don't follow through on your vision is because you don't trust it enough. It makes sense that it's going to happen, but it's not happening yet. People aren't saying yes. There's no momentum. There's no money coming in. And you start to wonder, who am I to have this big dream? So then there's this temptation to give up and go do something else and not follow through on your vision. But you know in the back of your head, you know that eventually for someone, it's gonna work out. You need to stay on it. You need to follow through. Otherwise, someone else is gonna make money off of your idea. They're gonna make it happen without you. So look at what I'm trying to do here with this channel, with my YouTube content, with my mission, my purpose. I'm trying to solve the world's biggest problem. I want to spread more belief, right? The world's biggest problem is that people don't believe in themselves enough. I think everybody is a genius. Everybody has Michael Jordan level talent at something. They're just not living it. They're not doing it. They're not expressing it. And so they end up living a life that they don't like, knowing that they're capable of more. Like, this is the problem I am trying to solve. It's one that I'm never going to fully solve in my lifetime, and I wake up every day trying to do it. And it's easy to get up and think, well, there's so many people trying to do the same thing. There's Tony Robbins and there's all these other people. Who am I to go off and do this? And I remind myself that I may not be Tony Robbins. I may not ever have as big an impact. I may not sell as many books as Simon Sinek. I may never have that big an impact. But I was able to help some people. You know, we have 2 million subscribers across the channels. We have 300 million views across the channels. It's having an impact. It's helping people. I can get better. I need to get better. But what I'm doing is already having an impact and helping people. So I need to keep going. And that's what I find really helpful. Just reminding yourself that you matter, that the work you do matters. Even if it hit one person, it made a difference. It matters. And so you have to follow through. You have to keep going. Because what's the alternative? What are you going to do? Go work at some job that you hate? That's what you're gonna do the rest of your life? You don't want that life. And then you see somebody else start winning off of the idea that you had just because they stuck with it and they kept following through. A lot of the people who win aren't the smartest. They're not the even people who don't have the biggest mission or vision. They just kept going. They started and they kept going. The thing that's missing for most people is just momentum. You don't have enough momentum. You're a genius. And dummies are winning from your idea because you don't have enough sustained momentum. You have to keep going. And so if you're struggling with that, imposter syndrome, struggling to keep going with motivation, I'm gonna give you a 3-step process that I think will help. Step 1 is big why, little why. I like using this as a way just to remember what I'm doing, remember why it's important, and have the mindset every day to wake up and go to work. The big why is what you're trying to do. The big mission, the impossible dream, the big vision, the goal that's never gonna happen. What is that thing? That's your big why. I wanna solve the world's biggest problem. Never gonna happen. And yet I wake up every day trying to make it happen. That's my big why. Sometimes the big why is too big, right? Sometimes it's scary. Sometimes you look at that and say, I can't do that. I mean, if it's never gonna happen in your life, why even try, right? So you might have some days like that. And so then I look at the little why. And the little why is the individual person that you helped. It's the comments on the video that I'll get on this video. You guys, right? You're my little why. It's before I started doing YouTube, I was doing speaking and people would give me praise after my event and I feel great, but then the next day I wake up and I'd feel low again. So I would look at the praise. I made this PowerPoint file and I looked at the praise every day that people put in. And that kept me going. It's my little why. It's like I touched somebody. It was important. And so for the days where you feel like your big why is too big and never gonna happen and who are you? You look at, well, I helped some people. And even if you don't have lots of subscribers on YouTube, you've helped somebody. You can always help somebody. You can always help one person today. You can help them. Just go to Twitter and do a search, or go to Instagram and do a search of somebody who's complaining about a problem that you can help with, and just help them. Give them advice. Make a quick little video to say, here's what you can do to help. There you go. Then maybe that takes you 5 minutes to do. You just help somebody. That's your little why. So the big why, the little why. Big why, your big vision, your mission, your dream, your big goal that's getting you excited to go forward. Little why, when the big why feels too big, to remind yourself that what I do is important. What you do is important. That you matter, that you make a difference. Number 2 is trust your bold ideas. You need to trust that your ideas come to you for a reason. An idea came to you for a reason. Where did it come from? I don't know, but it came to you for a reason, and trust in them because you have ideas that are happening all the time in your head. Whether you're going on a walk, or I get a lot of ideas in the shower, wherever you're getting your ideas, trust that they came to you for a reason and you need to see them through. You got to do something about it. The biggest thing, again, is lack of momentum. Don't worry about it working out. Don't worry about the end game. How am I going to get to 1 billion entrepreneurs? How am I going to have this? I don't know. Don't get stuck on that. That's quicksand. That prevents you from moving forward because there's so many different options that you want to plan it to get to perfection. You'll never be perfect. Stop trying to make a perfect plan. It does not exist. Move. Do something. Trust that idea came to you for a reason. Let's go. The idea came to you for a reason. You got to do something about it immediately, right now, today, because you're going to wake up tomorrow a different person. And step number 3 is study success. Study success. Find the people who've done the thing that you want to do, who've done it, who've had success doing it. And I find it super helpful because, one, it gives me the motivation to keep going, because chances are they failed many times. They failed over and over and over again, and then they won, right? Nobody just have an idea and boom, they're a millionaire overnight, right? Most of your heroes, they failed more than you failed, and they came from less than what you've already come from, right? You have more resources right now than your heroes did when they started. You just do. So that's inspiring, at least for me. And then it also gives you the strategies, like what did they do and what can you do too? And so studying success is a great way to be able to take those ideas that you've got, that vision that you have, and actually turn it into some kind of action. Now I've got some special bonus clips that I think you're going to enjoy. But before that, it's time for the question of the day. I want to know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week? When you just watch a video and you get motivated, the science says you have a 35% chance of actually following through. That's not good enough, Believe Nation. We need to take some action. But when you watch a video, you get motivated and you create a specific plan of action, that number jumps from 35% to 91% chance of you following through. And when you publicly commit to other people, like leaving a comment down in this video, your number jumps to 95% chance of you actually following through on the plan you set for yourself. So I want to know your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week. Leave it down in the comments below so I can celebrate you. What's the difference between you and Jack Ma? You both have crazy dreams. You both started with the odds stacked against you. You both started with very little resources. So what's the difference? The difference is that Jack kept believing in his dreams and his ideas when most people quit and give up. So I actually think you should be on a mission for life. I'm not a big believer in 5-year goals or 10-year goals. I think they can help, but I think if you have a 5 or 10-year goal, you're actually thinking small, because you can't predict where you're going to be in 5 or 10 years. Just like the person you were 5 or 10 years ago could not have designed the life for where you're at right now. Not if you're growing, because the world's changing too quickly and you're growing and evolving. So the ideas and goals that you had 5 years ago may not even be relevant anymore, but the mission stays the same. My mission is believe. Right? Your purpose comes from your pain. So my mission is believe. I want to support entrepreneurs because I struggled so much as an entrepreneur. And I think it's the world's biggest problem. I think the world's biggest problem is people don't believe in themselves enough. I think any other problem that you come up with should have already been solved by now, but the person who could solve that, cancer, the woman who should have solved cancer is an account manager at McDonald's, because she never tried going to medical school, or 2, she did, but she didn't believe in herself enough to chase it down, because everybody around her is telling her that she's crazy. You should be crazy. You're doing something that's never been done before. You're on a mission, right? And so no matter how many people I touch with all of my content, all of my channels, every video that I'm making, every speaking gig, every city that I go to, no matter how many people I touch, it's not going to be enough. I think that's great. I think you should have a mission so big that you're never going to actually accomplish it. I think of Ted Turner's father, who, when he made a certain amount of money, became a millionaire, or whatever the number was, he killed himself because he hit his goal. And hitting your goal is actually sad. And so Ted Turner decided that I'm going to set a goal so big that I can never hit it. And that's way more where I'm aligned. I think you should have a mission, something so big that you can never hit it. Some people think of that as, well, it's too big, and so why even try? And I think of that starfish example of the kids at the beach with the starfish, and there's like 1 million starfish on the beach, and she's throwing the starfish back in the water so they can live. And the guy walks by and says, "What are you doing? You can't save all the starfish." And she says, "I know, but I can save that one, and this one, and that one." Right? And so each person that you help, each step you take is beneficial, it's helpful. You never want to actually hit the goal, but you wake up every day working your face off to try to hit the goal. right? To hit that mission. And so that's belief for me, and I desperately hope that you find it for you. So how do you keep believing in your dreams? I'm gonna give you a 3-step process that I think will help. Number 1 is make big decisions with your heart. So big decisions with the heart, small ones with the head. At the beginning, when you're trying to decide what to do, your head and your heart often will fight, they'll conflict, they won't be aligned because your head only understands a world that currently exists. It's safe, it's practical, it's logical, and knows what currently exists. Where your heart can create something brand new. Your heart can imagine something that's never existed before. And so they clash at the beginning, right? Your heart wants to go do this thing, but you don't know how it's gonna work out because it doesn't make sense, because nobody's done it before, and especially someone who looks like you with your resources and your education, your background and your connections and your financial situation. Nobody like you has ever done it before. That's what your head's saying. And so there's this big fight. You need to take control of the situation. You need to get them aligned by saying, this is what I'm doing, right? Big decisions with the heart. And then your head's saying, oh, he's serious. She's serious. Okay, I better help because I don't want to die. And now your head starts working with you. Now your head starts helping you figure out how to actually go off and accomplish it. You're using your thinking side to help you accomplish your mission. But at the very beginning, it doesn't make sense, and so they'll fight. So the big decisions with the heart, and then the small ones with your head to help you figure out how to actually do it. Step number 2 is daily momentum. The biggest thing that you are missing is momentum. You're a genius, you have Michael Jordan level talent, you can save the world, you've got a big, ambitious, crazy mission that you're on. I love it, it's amazing, that's why you're here, that's why you're an entrepreneur, let's go, right? I'm excited pretty easily about entrepreneurship. The problem is you don't have momentum. There's no momentum. Nothing's happening enough on a daily basis. And so you need daily momentum. It doesn't matter that you watch one video like this and then you're on fire the rest of the day. It has to be every day, every single day. You have to build momentum to your business. Too many entrepreneurs, they start and they stop, and they start and they stop, and they start and they stop. They never get anywhere because they're too busy starting and stopping. And then you wonder, where's my, you didn't create the momentum. That's what's missing. Every single day, do the thing, put it into your morning routine that makes you feel bold, alive, unstoppable, confident, and then go out and create momentum. That is your duty, your responsibility, your must every single day. Create momentum. And then step number 3 is ask yourself, what would the most bold version of you do? What would the most bold version of you do? Just ask that question. Here's your mission. Here's what you're trying to accomplish. You're looking at your calendar. You're looking at what you want to accomplish. What would the most bold version? Just eliminate any insecurities, eliminate fears, eliminate judgment, eliminate the toxic people for your life just for this magical, 18 seconds. And ask yourself, what would the most bold version of me do? And then see what comes back. And then chances are that's the actual thing that you should be doing. Because you know what? You do bold things.
If you want to learn why you shouldn't quit doing something you love, check out the video next to me. I think you're gonna enjoy. Continue to believe.
Most people never manifest their ideas because you don't trust your ideas. That bold idea that came to you, that made sense to you in the moment, the next day feels too bold, too crazy,